A lot of people are saying this is like the best weekend of like playoff football there's ever been. You guys agree with that?
I would say, yeah. First weekend division weekend is always, I think, the best weekend in the whole season. But I think, yeah, I would say so. I think the one weekend I remember, I think it was like 2003. That was a year. No, 2003 season, 2004 playoffs. You had Carolina and St. Louis going to double overtime. You had that was the same weekend of the 4th and 27th play. Green Bay and Philadelphia.
Right.
What other game? You had you had the Wild Chiefs and Colts game. And then you had a close Titans Patriots game. So that's the only year I could think of that rivaled this weekend. But I think this was the best weekend that I've seen of playoff football games in all the years I followed the game. So
yeah,
it's been a long time, honestly, since you could sit there and say that every game was, just as exciting, if not more. Besides some of the results, the last result in particular, but having 3 of the games decided with a game-winning, field goal, and then that's crazy. And then the other game going into overtime, obviously with getting that dub with the touchdown, very exciting. I will say there was maybe just a tad lack of defense in the last game. I don't know if there was defense played, but still exciting regardless of the lack of defense. It was still an awesome thing to see. Not so much the results from my end. Didn't really like that, but great game though.
So somebody's sounds like somebody's a Bills fan, or at least just hates the Chiefs. Probably.
No way. Yeah, please. The latter. Not a Bills.
No, I get it, man. I get it. Like, my big thing, as far as this weekend goes, I was shocked that the Packers lost. Like it was like the whole game they were up, like 7 points. They were ready to win, and the stupid turnover right there at the end, or because of their special teams. Garbage, right? Like it's your whole seasons go down the toilet because of special teams, and that's rough, man. I know a lot of Packer fans, and I can't imagine. Like there have been a lot of teams that have lost because of special teams, like you said this weekend, talking about field goals and all of that. But to lose that way is tough, man. I was happy to see Tom Brady lose. That was a big deal. The Rams, they put it to him. Stafford, and they just played better, and
I'm still waiting for Stafford to somehow fuck this up, but he's been balling.
Yeah,
he's been
playing
great.
Out.
He really is. He really is.
The Rams are extremely dangerous right now. I mean, I would say all the teams that are left, are dangerous for sure. That's why they're there. I would say the Niners for me is the least dangerous, just because Garoppolo, he is what he is. Like he's not gonna light up the scoreboard usually, so. But which is why I think the Rams will beat them. Even though the Rams, for some reason, have not done well against the Niners.
I looked up a stat that the Rams have been in LA for, what is it, now 4 or 5 years, 6 years now. They have never beaten the 49ers in LA since they moved back to LA.
The Niners seem to have their number, and they also have freaking Packers number in the
I
playoffs.
know,
So
right?
that's rough. But I want it to be known that I did call that loss. I did say that Rodgers or that the Packers were going to choke. I said that was going to
You
happen.
did say
I
that.
called that,
You did say
and
that.
yeah, I just know how it goes. Honestly, with it's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. I wouldn't give it to him. It was obviously special teams that contributed to that loss, but they didn't have a spectacular offensive display like they normally do either. So you got to put some of that on his shoulders, and not only him. His team didn't really help him out too much, let alone the weather. The weather was pretty rough. So with that type of weather, it's not going to be, an offensive masterpiece like, let's say, the Chiefs and the Bills, which there was no defense. It was just this offense nonstop, which is darn exciting. It was as exciting as could be, but um, yeah, Rogers couldn't do that with his supporting cast and the weather during that game. So I do like it though because it gives the Broncos one
Here we
last
go.
chance of getting this guy. If we can get him, or that was the best case scenario.
Here we go.
Either him or Russell Wilson, and your boy will be happy. I will be a happy man. We're going after one of those two. We're getting one of them.
Yeah, man. I've always said it. If you guys get Rodgers, like that's scary. He's amazing. You guys have good defense, and yeah, as long as you get a decent head coach to match up with that, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but we'll see. Yeah,
Yep.
who do you think let's just go ahead and switch topics to the Broncos real quick. I just want to talk about your guys' head coaching search and how they narrowed it down, and who do you guys think is going to actually get the job?
What you think, Sacker?
I don't even know anymore. I thought Dan Quinn was a shoo-in, but I don't know anymore. I mean, it sounds like Nathaniel Hackett had a great second interview yesterday, so who knows at this point?
Yeah, it was like 8 hours, I think.
Right?
I think
Yeah,
I read the thing
exactly,
for like 8 hours. Yeah,
exactly.
that's
So
significant. Honestly, eight
that
hours is
is,
definitely significant. I'm with you on that, Sacker.
yeah.
I thought
So
I thought Quinn had it wrapped up honestly beforehand, but I don't know, man. Hackett seems like he might have a chance now.
a legit shot.
But who do you want? That's the thing.
Um, Personally, if I had to pick, I would probably go Hackett just because we've had this defensive mindset going on for a while, which we got our defense where it needs to be. Probably we can fix it up a little bit more, but we have an awesome defense. So I think if we get a good D coordinator or stick with what we got, but just keep that defense where it's at, get healthy. Our defense will be fine. It'd be nice to get a nice, what I mean, new offensive minded coach, kind of like the Rams have, kind of like, let's see, who else we got? Who they play? Who's who was also I forget, guys. I'm totally drawing a blank. Who else is a couple other the young coaches that are up and coming?
Was that well? Oh, you mean up and coming,
That the
or
other team, I mean, that are there that the teams have like pretty
well,
much proven.
Zach Taylor's the coach of the Bengals, and he was the Rams quarterback coach
Yep,
like
Zach
3 years
Taylor,
ago.
good call on that. Then there was somebody who was just in the playoffs. I was looking. Who were they playing? The Rams was playing. He's a youngin too, right?
Um, shoot.
I don't know. You
The
know what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a couple younger coaches out there. That's kind of what I want to see. I want to see, new school, offensive minded, not afraid to go for. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Buffalo's coach. Buffalo's coach is also kind of. No, he's not. He's not young as could be, but he's a younger
No, he's
coach,
not.
uh, younger
Yeah,
mindset.
he's different. Yeah, he's
Yeah. I just want that. I want that offensive. I want that offensive mindset. I want to get a good quarterback, offensive mindset.
Yeah.
Stick with the
Brian
defense.
Dabble. Brian
Go at.
Dabble's the Brian Dabble's the guy you're thinking of.
Dable.
Dable, yeah.
Yep.
Dable, Dabble, same difference.
Yeah. I just want something new. I want a younger a younger cat. I think Fangio was too old. He looked like he was sleeping when he was awake. Anyways, the dude just, I don't know. He wasn't the right fit. He didn't have what it took. So
Fair enough.
Um, When the Broncos came out and announced their finalists for head coaches, I really had two requirements, really. If it's not an offensive minded head coach, offensive coordinator, or offensive
Mm.
minded coach, make sure that coach is actually coached and had some success in the past.
Right.
I
Somebody
think
who yeah.
I think those were the two things that I was looking towards. Yeah, Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio were both defensive coaches, but they never have coached in the NFL. And that I think was a defensive coaches just don't really have the flow of the game more or less. They're not used to being able to manage the game more or less. I mean, they manage the defense, but I mean, offensive coaches usually have more of a gauge on managing game management, which I think was big in my book. So I was fine with all three finalists. Dan Quinn, yeah, I mean, he's defensive minded, but he's also coached and he's also had success. And
Yeah, yeah,
so I would have been fine with, um, I'm fine with Dan Quinn, Nathaniel Hackett, obviously, him being an offensive um, head coach with the Packers, and then the other guy, Kevin O'Connell, the offensive coordinator with the Rams right now. Um, So those seem to be the finalists. So I honestly would be. I see where they're going with either one of those, and I would be perfectly fine either with either three of those. I guess my pick would be Hackett, just because but I wouldn't be mad by either of the three head coaches. I think they needed to go either offense or have a guy with that could be a game manager and has had experience doing that. And Dan Quinn fits that bill. So
yeah. Good points.
yeah.
Yeah,
What about you, Bob?
if you could get Quinn, I mean that's the way to go, right? I think. But obviously he's got a lot of people, a lot of other teams
That's
interested.
that's the other thing. I don't know about
So
that's the other thing about Dan Quinn is that a lot of people are interested in him.
right.
So
S- So, but it'll be good though. Like I think you guys are doing your due diligence and you're getting out there and um, they seem to be more motivated and
that and
and this time it's at least a GM that is seems to know what he's doing.
I think
And he
yeah,
gets to pick the coach, which it should have been that way when he got hired anyway. But
yeah, and just to say one thing real quick, John, I think the one thing that John Elway kind of I guess was kind of his downfall was he kind of with Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio, he kind of those were his guys before he even had the interviews. So
right,
he never really had a full, like, thorough interview process. Um, so first
yeah,
time Gary Kubiak came back, and that ended up working clearly. But before Kubiak became available, he wanted Vance Joseph, and that came around once Kubiak retired. And same thing with Vic Fangio; that was kind of the guy, and those didn't really pan out. I mean, it's important for you to interview as many people as you can, and George
yeah,
Patton has clearly done that with uh, 10, 10 coaches. That's the most I've seen any team actually do, and that's doing your due diligence. And I think that was very smart on his part to do that. So
Definitely, definitely. I don't think there's going to be a bad coach, or I mean, a bad choice out of these three. Honestly, I think I'm happy with all three of them. Um, Quinn, I was automatically kind of leaning towards him at first, just because of his prior experience and the fact that he's got to the show before. But now I'm kind of leaning towards one of the other two, Hackett or Conley, just because I want to see some of the new school. I want to see that. I want to see. We haven't really had a young, fiery coach since obviously McDaniel's, which that didn't go out too well. But we're not planning on cheating Spygate Junior like with McDaniel's. We're planning on. We already got the defense set. Um, maybe we'll come back healthy next year. Maybe get some new free agent additions to help out a little bit. Get another offensive lineman here or there, and we'll see what happens with the quarterback position. But I'd love to see a young new coach who be able to, whatever quarterback we get, be able to kind of use him and create a game plan around him.
So what are you guys gonna do with the quarterbacks you have now? What do you think happens to Bridgewater and what's his face?
Yeah, what's
Drew
his
Lock.
face? Yeah. Well, Bridgewater is a free agent, so I think he's going to go somewhere else. Drew Lock still has a year left, so I think he stays. But I clearly don't think the organization is sold on Drew Lock at all.
No,
Otherwise, he would have started. Otherwise, he would have started last year, and I
So
think that's not gonna that
so
ship has sailed.
he'll be a backup probably
Yeah,
then.
he'll be at best a backup.
Okay.
He may be released, but I doubt that'll happen. But so yeah, I do think they're setting up for trying to make a run on Rodgers, Wilson, or any of these quarterbacks. And if it doesn't work out, I think they'll draft a quarterback. So
Mhm.
um,
yep,
that's why I see it. I mean, it's clearly shown, and this weekend has clearly shown you've got to have a quarterback. You just do a
yep,
quarterback that you believe in. I mean, and the Broncos don't have that. I mean, as much as we could say whether Drew Lock's the guy or not, the team doesn't think Drew Lock's the guy. Otherwise,
Right.
he would have started in 2021, and that didn't happen.
yeah,
So they don't think he's the guy. So I mean, so
yeah.
they gotta get that quarterback first and foremost. So
I'm with you on that, Sacker. It's obvious Teddy's gonna be gone. He honestly didn't do a horrible job this year as far as numbers wise. He wasn't the guy we I think we all knew he wasn't gonna be the guy that got us to the playoffs or even
right,
further than that.
right,
Um, pun intended, he was a bridge quarterback. That's the case. We need to get him. We need to get over the bridge now. He'll go to another team, and he'll be either fighting for a team that's really, really needing a quarterback. He might fight for either the backup or the. You never know the starting position to a team that doesn't have the money that we do that we can throw out a free agent quarterback. So
right.
he'll be on a different team, and he might help him win. You never know. Um, I would love to have him as the backup, but that ain't gonna happen. He's gonna want too much money with the numbers that he got this year.
Exactly.
So Locke will be the guy. He'll be our backup quarterback, and then we're gonna throw some money at either Rogers or Wilson and see what happens. If that doesn't happen, I agree with Sacker. We'll at that point probably go for a draft. Or I heard a couple rumors about Matt Ryan might be able to get pride from the Falcons, but I
Yeah,
think
that's
he's
another. I mean, yeah, that's another one. So
there's a couple things you never know.
yeah,
They're all three of those are upgrades, honestly. Rogers, Wilson, and even Matt Ryan are upgrades from Teddy. So I wouldn't be too happy with the latter. I wouldn't really want Matt Ryan. I think he's past his prime. But if that's who we had to go with, I give everybody a chance. I mean, I gave Drew, Teddy a chance. I mean, I gave Will Barton a chance for the Nuggets.
Oh, pardon.
uh, we can never
But
get through one of these without mentioning his name.
hey man, they're playing tonight. I hope I didn't even get
They
to
did
check.
win.
See,
They won. They
they
won.
did. No, sweet.
Yes.
Well, they were
Yeah.
playing the Pistons, so I thought, how did Cousins do? Did Cousins do all right
He
first
was
first game?
okay. He had a decent line. Like didn't get a chance to check out what he did actually, but
I'm gonna have to look at his stats. All we need him to do is just get some rebounds, put in some good minutes,
that's
be a
it.
power in the blocks. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's all we need him for.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I like your Nuggets there, by
14
the way.
minutes, 14
Thanks, man.
minutes, 4 points,
4 points. How many rebounds you got?
7 rebounds.
Okay,
So
okay.
That's what you need, yeah.
14
yeah,
minutes, 7 rebounds ain't bad. You know what I mean?
no,
4 points, not bad. It's
not bad.
yeah, we keep him coming off the bench. He'll be putting in more points as he gets more minutes. So not bad.
Yeah.
But Bob, I think you've been over there about ready to explode enough. We should talk about you know your team's amazing.
So, well, let me start by because we haven't talked about this yet either. When I worked for ESPN, I don't think I talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that
yeah,
last
yeah.
time. So, it was the Chiefs Broncos game, Monday Night Football. Well, it was the Monday Night Football crew for a Saturday game. But yeah, man, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I was on the visitors side, like in the tunnel, and where like the Chiefs, the way they have the stadiums, I'm sure you guys know, but or maybe you don't, but they bring in the buses like actually into the stadium right there.
Yeah.
It's like a
Right.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a big area, but and drop them off, and they
Mhm.
go through and everything. And so I went on break to eat, and then I came back out, and um first thing I was like, oh man, did the bus already come by? They're like, oh yeah, one of the buses already came by. And I was like, damn, I didn't get to see him come out. And then like 2 seconds later, Mahomes comes walking like right towards me, like out of the tunnel by himself, like running onto the field, like he's like the first dude ready to go. He's already like got his gear on, and and then the rest of the buses show up, and you see like Reed and Kelsey and all those guys, Chris Jones just walking through, like right, like literally like 6 feet in front of me. It was crazy.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude. And my job was I had to put up all the ESPN signs that were around the stadium, and then
Oh.
Oh,
forward again then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. My I don't know. Anyway, so they get off the bus. I see them all walking right in front of me. I go onto the field just before the game, kind of walk around, see what's going on, and it was cool, man. It was crazy. Just one thing. Oh man, it was messed up. You know about his Patrick Mahomes' wife, and then his little brother.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I was standing like right next to them, and so one of the Bronco fans had his phone out and was recording. He was like, "Hey Mahomo, hey Mahomo,"
Oh,
and
geez.
Oh,
yeah, and she looks over and like gives that guy like the death stare, and I was like, "Oh man," I wanted to yell at that guy or say something, but like at that point it's like I can't do anything. Like I gotta do my job and just keep quiet. And so I walked back in. I was out there in the tunnel when they did their pre-game, hype up, and then before they run out on the field, which is crazy to be on the backside of that, listening to it live and right there. Um, and then obviously most of the game I was just getting snacks for people, and all of that. Organizing things. And then the last few, I was watching the game too, and the last few minutes, like my boss was like looking at me and seeing how hyped I was about the game. She's like, "Do you want to go watch this from the field?" I'm like, "Huh?" I was like,
What?
"Yeah." I was like, yes." She's like, "Yeah, let's go." So she walks me through the tunnel, and that picture that I posted on Facebook, that's me on my way to like where I was going to stand. But basically she walked me across where the nets were in front of the goalpost there, and we had to stop. They stopped us because of the play that was going on at the time. And then once the play ended, then I crossed, and where they put the DT, the 88, where they painted it. Like
Yeah.
I
yeah,
was right there, right where the cheerleaders all kind of do their thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I was just standing there, and um, it was amazing because obviously I saw the last few minutes. It was the part right after the Chiefs ran it back for a touchdown that Gordon fumbled, right?
Again.
Um,
Yeah,
right.
we don't gotta kick up both
Yeah,
days.
yeah. We know
No, we're
exactly
good,
what
bud.
play. You don't have to describe it. We know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we were
man.
there. We heard about it, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then obviously I watched it till the end, but um my job at the end of the game, because I was already out there, my boss was like, "All right, so since you're out here, just pick up we had a couple coolers out there for the camera crew, and she's like, just bring those in." So I was going to bring it in, and then a Bronco player comes running over, and he takes off his helmet, sets it on the cooler that I'm supposed to bring in. And well, at first he was trying to jump on the cooler to talk to his like family that was there. But he looks at me, he's like, "Do you think I should do that?" I'm like, "I don't know, man," because he's got his cleats on. I was like, "Dude, you're gonna hurt
Don't do
yourself."
that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of because it was the game where it was one of the backup cornerbacks. I forget who. I just think it's 30 or 30 something. I don't remember. But
Okay.
but anyway, but yeah, he I had to just stand there and wait, and then he finally, took his helmet, and then I grabbed the coolers, took them off, and but at the very beginning of the day when I went out there, I was like, man, this field is like it's nice, but like it was wet and sloppy, and I was like, man, this is gonna affect the game. And sure enough, that was when Butker fell on his ass on the on the kickoff.
Yeah, it snowed like a couple days before that, so it's
Yeah,
not
so
surprised. Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah,
yeah, so that was an amazing experience. And I
that's
had to
cool, man.
I got to walk through to the broadcast booth and bring snacks up there and stuff. I walked through the stadium to, where they do their press conferences and everything. I walked
Okay.
past that room
Yep.
and all that setup, which was really cool. Um, basically, the Thunder, your guys' horse, is that what his name is or her
Yes.
Yep.
name? Yeah.
Yep.
Was right there. So
Okay.
like right by the visitors, they had this sectioned off just for the horse, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. But the reason I bring that up, um, for this game, like I told you guys, I was nervous. I was nervous for the Bills. Bills. This is the best Bills team that the Chiefs have seen, that the NFL has seen. They've in a long time, and I keep thinking about that moment when I was just hanging out in the tunnel, and I see Mahomes walking out. First person on the field, all business, and yeah, man, it's hard to. And coming back to kind of what Tyler was saying, was there wasn't much defense going on. But the thing is, if you don't have the defense working and you do have a guy like that can still win it for you, makes a difference. Um, but yeah, that game, I was stressed out the entire time. Because again, like the Bills, so early on, the Chiefs D actually did do pretty well. And they were doing some things. They actually made the Bills punt, um,
Yeah.
which they didn't punt like 3 out of the 4 games that they played, the Bills didn't punt, which is crazy. And then this game, we made them punt 4 times, and they made us punt twice. And so, yeah, man, I'm not gonna say that the Chiefs played good defense at all. There were some moments they got sacks here and there, but nothing like Allen was moving around too much, and it's hard to get that guy down when he's running like that because he's got speed and power. And hats off to the Bills, man. They played a crazy tough game. Um, it was just I don't know. Like I'm still like right now, still like in disbelief that we won because when you're down, there's 2 minutes left, and there was like 25 points scored, which is insane. And there was a minute left. Josh Allen drives down the field. There's 17 seconds left. Throws it in the end zone. Touchdown. Chiefs are down by 3. There's 13 seconds left. At that moment, I was like, this is over. There's absolutely no way. Like, I mean, 13 seconds, like, that's crazy. I've never seen it. And for when it happened, the first play, um, I was just surprised. I couldn't believe the defense that they were in. Like, why are you covering the boundary when the Chiefs have 3 timeouts? They can use the entire field. And that last play to Kelsey to get him in, I don't know if you guys know about that, but the last play to Kelsey, Kelsey wasn't supposed to do that. He told Mahomes, he's like, hey, if they're in that same defense, I'm going to run up the seam. They're not guarding it. And when they lined up, sure enough, they were in that same defense. And you can hear in the broadcast, Mahomes says, "Do it, Kels, do it." Like he's telling Kelsey to do it, like just to avoid the play and just run down the seam. And then he threw it to him, and then from they got that timeout, kicked the field goal, and that field goal was no gimme, by the way. Like Butker was struggling, like even just to get there in a position to kick that field goal was tough enough, but then to make it and send it to overtime was crazy. And I don't know how you guys feel. How do you guys feel about the whole overtime rules thing?
Well, first of all, that it's hard for me to even choke out
You
a
know, right?
congratulations because it's the Chiefs, but I know it seems like you're a friend. I can give you a I can't say it. Never mind. But
No,
your
don't,
boys won, so
don't.
t- no, I can't do it. But anyways, heck of a game, heck of a game. I will say this though, the Bills shot themselves in the foot. I don't know why. Me and my uncle were watching the game together. I don't know why they did not squib kick or you know what I mean, pooch kick that ball to take more time off the clock. That made no sense at all. Even though they had three timeouts, the Chiefs, so they were gonna, even if they would have done that, they would have gave up some more yardage. Probably on that particular thing, but it would have worked out a lot better for them taking that time off the clock. So big time missed opportunity there, but still quite impressive to get the ball down the field 13 seconds on the clock, but three timeouts obviously it's still impressive to go that far and get it done. So crazy, crazy. As far as your question though, I believe especially in a game like that both teams should have touched the ball. That's one thing that kind of outlines that. But I can't say that I want it changed. I can't say that I want it changed just because it's the way I've always known it is the old, overtime rule, which is basically just dependent on the coin flip. And then this one, which is obviously, coin flip, and then if you don't score a touchdown, the other team gets to touch the ball. So it's a little bit changed up, but I don't know. I would have liked to see both teams, especially in a game like that, both teams touch the ball and just let it go the entire regulation of overtime. In my opinion, that would have been awesome just to see who wins it at the end of overtime. But it is what it is. Like Josh Allen said it classily enough. Is if we would have won, you know what I mean? They would have been. Or I can't say that. I needed the rule needed to be changed because if we would have won it that way, we would have been just as happy. So he's basically just saying, it is the way it is, and he dealt with it. So that's where I'm at on that. And the one quote that Andy Reid said to Mahomes, which was pretty cool, I'll give Reid some props where he's like, "When it's looking grim, you be the Grim Reaper." I just saw that quote that he put before he went in there for that 13 seconds. He goes, "If it's looking grim, you be the Grim Reaper." I thought that was pretty hardcore. It's hard for me to give anybody on the Chiefs any props, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, like that's an amazing quote. And yeah, man, I think I don't know. What do you think, Sacker? Let's hear what you have to say about it.
Oh God. Yeah, I probably will not be giving that much props to the Chiefs all that much, to be honest. That just makes me sick to my stomach. But
Yeah,
it was a fun game to watch. Yeah, I kind of I agree with a lot of Tyler's points on not the Bills not squib kicking the ball there, and just especially the defense they playing essentially a cover three, guarding the boundary, guarding the sidelines. It just made no sense for the situation, especially when the Chiefs had all three of their timeouts. That just made no sense. So, um, yeah. So, with that being said, the rule overtime. I just I'm on the side of I don't think there's much you could really do. I don't know. I mean, I'm a big believer that defense and special teams should mean something at so uh, Buffalo.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just even yeah. If you were to change it, what would you change it to? Both teams get the
right,
ball, and then what happens after that?
right. It's so
Um,
I
it's just yeah. I'm gonna. I don't. It would be nice to see them. Tyler kind of said it would be nice to see both of them, both teams touch the ball just because of that. But then again, I'm also in the other belief of saying that if I'm a coach, I'm trying to avoid overtime as is, just because of that. So
Right.
um once it gets to overtime, it's kind of it's kind of the luck of the draw at that point. So
So yeah, I'll agree with you there. I think um, because so the thing about it is the Chiefs have faced that situation before on the shit end of it. You know, when they were in the AFC Championship game against the Patriots, they Patriots send it to overtime. They win the coin toss. They drive it down and they win. Right, like Mahomes never gets the ball. Same thing that happened this time around, and
That
the
was
Chiefs.
awesome.
Yeah.
that was awesome. That was a lot better. I enjoyed that game a lot better than this one. Just want to put that out there. So
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
me
That's
too.
cool, man. That's cool. But so so they end up losing that game, and the Chiefs actually try to get the rule changed.
mhm.
And but Buffalo was one of those teams who did not. They voted against it. They wanted to keep the rule the same. So it could have been different. But
Right.
again, the game didn't come down to I don't think it came down to that. You gotta stop if you're down if there's 13 seconds left in a game, you cannot let them drive down the field and
Can't
score.
you can't.
That's just can't happen. I mean, like Sacker said, even in overtime, it's a three-phase game, you know? Like you can't just put everything on the offense. Like you got I mean, for the Chiefs, they had to make the field goal, which is special teams, right? They don't make that field goal, it doesn't matter that what Mahomes did, right? So if the Bills wanted to win, one, they should have stopped them with 13 seconds left with the squib kick and all of that, definitely. And then if they couldn't do that, they should have stopped them in overtime. They still had to drive 70, 75 yards or whatever it was to get a touchdown, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't obviously don't mind the rule because I've been on both sides of it, right? So I think it's fine. It's unfortunate for a game that we watched like that. Because again, everybody wants more. But what I see is that these teams, I don't know, man, like there's got to be a stopping point at some point, right? And I feel like it's dangerous too, even if you receive it, because when the Chiefs got the ball in the back of my head was like, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, right? Because all it takes is one fumble recovery from the other team, they kick a field goal, the game's over. They don't even that's it. That's all they would have to
I
do.
was praying for that, by the way. Just want to
Yes,
put that out there.
that would have been amazing.
Hey man, I don't know. Like at that point, like with what the Chiefs did with that last 13 seconds, like it was in the back of my mind, but it was also like they're gonna win this game. Like they're not gonna let it. Mahomes at that point, when now that he has the ball, he went 6 for 6 in overtime to win it. Like
Oh,
Yeah, I
and
knew when you guys got the
once the coin toss hit, once the coin
yep,
toss, once y'all won the coin toss, it was a wrap. It was
yep.
over.
I knew when you
That
guys
the
won the
defense was
coin toss.
Bill's defense was gassed at that point. There was no
Yep.
way they were gonna
Plus,
stop it.
momentum
And the
was on your
momentum,
guys'
yeah,
side.
there was no way. Like,
but also you could also say that the Bills have the number one defense in the league and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's
Nah,
like
that's out the window after watching that game, dude. There was no, like I said, yeah, you're right. They held them to a couple points there,
and that
but
defense, yeah, and I'll tell you what. One thing about Bill's defense, it's been, I wouldn't say, well, it's been solid for most of the part, but they've had games where they've kind of showed some scars, so showed some chinks in the armor. So um,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't think they would win the game completely on the strength of their defense. Let me put
And
it that way.
and it definitely took, Josh Allen playing a game like that for them to be in it.
And I
And
thought he needed that type of game to win that game, and he did. It
yeah,
just
yeah, he
it,
did everything he could with that. It wasn't Josh Allen. Josh Allen can hang his hat.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, hats off to him, and he can't hang his head at all. That guy was the reason why his team was still in it. Some of the plays, some of the throws I saw him have, even like the 2 point conversion, where he threw that 2 point conversion that they needed. They needed that 2 point conversion to even be in it still. That was an amazing throw. There was just so many throws in his stats. I mean, he was 397, I think 397 yards, 4 touchdowns, 27 for 37 or something like that. Stats were amazing. So doesn't get much better than that. I'm disgusted that the
Yeah.
Broncos.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted that the Broncos passed up on him and got Bradley Chubb. Now, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That's one thing, yeah, in the back of my head, anytime I hear about Josh Allen, I always think about the Broncos of what, they could have had him. Um, for whatever reason, I think they were gun shy because of the whole Paxton Lynch thing.
Because they had Paxton Lynch still, and they still
Right,
wanted to give him a shot. That's really what it came down to. And
right,
I don't know. I mean, Josh Allen. It took a lot of coaching for him. He didn't have the first couple years. He was not. He was a raw talent, and
right.
he was coached up. I mean, he had. Um, I know the quarterback coach. Ken Dorsey was his quarterback coach for the last 2-3 years. The same guy who helped out Cam Newton when Cam Newton won the MVP, went to the Super Bowl. I mean, he was I mean, and now we talked about the offensive coordinator for Buffalo. He was coached up for the last couple of years, and that's why now he is the Josh Allen we see. I don't think we see that with the Broncos, so I still have my doubts on if he would have ever been all that successful here, just
Yeah,
because
it's
coaching,
yeah.
especially on the offensive side, has just been lacking.
You're definitely right, man.
So
There's no way to tiptoe around that. You're right. It might have been a different story, but personally to me, it looks like that he had all the talent in the world, and he might have been able to even shine under our subpar coaching. But I agree with you, Sacker. Good point. We'll never know.
yeah, we'll never
Um,
know.
on to the next one. On to the next quarterback for us. But yeah,
So what I don't know, man. Like the whole time for that game, I kept coming back to like Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, like that that combination has been so good for them. And I mean, just Andy Reid, he's gone to what is it? He's the only coach that with two different teams that have gone to, was it four NFC and then four AFC, or is it three? I think it was three NFC and four AFC championships in a row to host,
Three, yeah,
which is insane, right? So yeah, man. Like,
4. Actually, it's 4.
it's four for the Chiefs, but I'm talking about, I think it was
Oh,
three for the Eagles. It may be four for the Eagles too, but
3. It's 3 for the Eagles. Sorry.
is it three for the
Mhm.
Eagles? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what the ones for the Chiefs are, because the
yeah.
first
So
one
We
do
we
know,
lost.
Bob.
yeah,
So you don't have
Bob.
to bring
We
it
get it.
up. We get it.
So, um, there's a couple games coming up, to determine who's going to the Super Bowl. Uh, where do you think this is headed?
Rams Chiefs, unfortunately. Um, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be the Rams Chiefs. I would love to see Burrow upset your boys. I would love to see it more than anything. But dude, I could tell you one thing from watching Joe Burrow. Amazing talent. The problem is the dude cannot throw the ball away when he needs to. He takes sacks, takes them out of like field. He took 9 sacks this last game. They shouldn't even have won that game. 9 sacks. Luckily for him that they got 3 interceptions, or else they would not even have won that game.
Agreed.
He just he doesn't know when to throw the ball away, which is one thing that I see is going to be a detriment to him going forward. You could tell he's way young still as far as in regards to that. So I hope that changes. I hope somebody takes him aside this week and says, "Hey, bro, 9 sacks, that's ridiculous. You got to get rid of that ball," because he took him out of field goal range once or twice out of that too. That's detrimental. You cannot take those sacks. Um, you can't get hit 9 times. I mean, you can't take 9 sacks and think that you're going to win a game. So, I'm going to pick the Chiefs because, unfortunately, I have to. It's if I'm putting money on them, I have to do it. It's going to be the Chiefs first, and I have to go Rams because Matthew Stafford's balling out of control, and their defense is looking hot. I mean, Vaughn is looking like playoff Vaughn. He's looking like Broncos playoff Vaughn. That's what he's looking like. I believe he has 6 sacks in his last 6 games. He had that strip sack on freaking Brady, which we obviously know strip sack Miller. Amazing. I'm going for Vaughn, so I'm rooting for Vaughn. I'm going Rams, Chiefs.
What about you, Sacker?
Chiefs, and I don't think it'll be that close. And I think exactly kind of what Tyler alluded to. Um, and the Titans' defensive line is really good. So,
Yeah.
But I mean, the strength of the defense, the strength of the defense of the Chiefs is their D line, and they're playing in a tougher environment. And I just, God, he's got to be able to get rid of the ball quicker, or they are not going to have much of a chance. And I just don't see that happening. So, as much as I will hope and pray that the Bengals could do it, I'm not that confident that they do it. So, I think the line's what 6.5. I think the last time I checked, I think Chiefs
Yeah, I think
easily
you're right.
cover that. And then on the other side, and kind of want to, I wish I had the meme here, but there was a meme that I saw just before this started. Of I don't know if you guys seen the meme of you have the three soldiers right behind like a building or whatnot, getting ready to go after someone and shoot someone, and then you have the fourth guy who's a clown. And basically, the meme said that Mahomes, Burrow, Mahomes, Burrow,
Stafford.
Stafford, and Garoppolo's getting ready for the championship weekend, and obviously Garoppolo's the clown, and
Yeah.
they've won in spite. 49ers, amazing that they got to this point, but Garoppolo hasn't done shit compared to the other three quarterbacks, and I just don't see how that continues. Um,
Yeah.
Even with the Rams even with the even with the 49ers having their number. I mean, we've seen last week quarterback play means a lot, and the 49ers have won in spite of that. And so, I mean, they should have lost to the Packers. That's just
Yeah.
what it is. So I think their luck runs out here. I think the Rams go. So I think it's Rams Chiefs. So, and
The
I
one,
don't think it'll be all that exciting compared to last week.
I agree with you. I think these games will be a little different, obviously, than the games we just saw. Um, I am worried because as a Chiefs fan, with the last time we played the Bengals, we lost, and it wasn't that long ago. It was like second to last game of the year because we lost to them, and then we went to
That
Denver.
was at home. That was in Cincinnati though.
It was.
Being in
Well,
Kansas
no,
City,
no.
that's a big difference.
I think
And
you're
you know,
right.
Bob's gonna do his whole, you
Oh,
know
I
what I
know.
mean?
Oh, I know.
Reverse
I'm just putting
psychology
it.
of
I'm
the
just. I'm
league.
just putting it out there. But
Yeah, and
I
but you know it, Sacker. We know it more than anybody. Bob's gonna do his reverse psychology. Like he's
hmm
really worried, like he was against us, and then the Bills, and now the Bengals. I believe he might have been a little bit worried about the Bills, but
yeah,
he ain't worried
yeah,
worried
absolutely. I
about us.
think. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I think the Bills. Yeah, you got to be worried
he
about
was
them.
worried about us, and he ain't
There's
worried
no
about
way.
the Bengals.
There's no way. No way.
Mm-mm.
No way.
so let me tell you guys.
Okay.
um Last year's Super Bowl um helped humble me. I mean, I was flying high, after the first Super Bowl that they won, and then the second one, the way it ended, like, because we had beat the Bucks that earlier that year. We beat them pretty easily. Like, they came back towards the end, but it wasn't like really they weren't in the game. And then to lose the way we did in the Super Bowl, it really put things in perspective. I was like, this team, like, they they rely on their offense a lot, and when their offensive line was so bad, it was a struggle. So they are in a better position this year as far as the O line goes, which is nice. The O line's been playing really good. Basically, they replaced their entire O line and got really good players in free agency and the draft, which is awesome. But again, man, it's not in any given Sunday like in the playoffs per se, but again, if you turn the ball over too many times, and that's why we lost the first time. Like if you turn the ball over too many times, your chances of winning are a lot less, especially in the playoffs. And I mean, I don't see the Chiefs doing that this year, but there's always an opportunity for the other team, right? And I don't know if the Bengals defense is that great. I really haven't checked on them and how good they are, but yeah, man, turnovers can switch a game even if your team's superior, right? I mean, look at the Packers. The Packers should have beat the Niners, right? And that was a special teams turnover that ended that one. And everybody's how can you not be confident in the Packers, which were the number one seed? Aaron Rodgers is an MVP player, right? Their defense is playing really well. So yeah, man. I mean, the doubt is real because of just the parity in the NFL, just how things can change. Obviously, I believe the Chiefs can beat the Bengals. I think they have a better shot at beating the Bengals than they did beating the Bills. But again, the Chiefs didn't turn the ball over against the Bills. Like that was a very key stat. No, neither of those teams did. But in this game, if you're not careful, like Chase, that dude, he is. I would say he's like probably the best wide receiver left right now. Like he might be. Like he's that good. Like yeah, that dude.
I think you forgot about Cooper Cup.
Well, I mean, and then there's Debo, right? But
Yeah,
Chase,
he's up there though. You ain't lying.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
super talented.
Cooper Cup's the three ring leader with all of his categories. I think this year it goes to him. But you are right. He's super talented, uber talented.
Yeah, and Chase has played. Burrow has played with him in
Yep.
college, right? So
Yep.
they already have that connection. So it's not like they're new with each other.
Sure.
So, but yeah,
Yeah,
man.
he's stud.
I think I agree. I think it's gonna be Chiefs and Rams. I would love to see a Chiefs Niners repeat. I think that'd be kind of cool. Um, but however you get to the Super Bowl, man, I'm not gonna complain. Like if my team can somehow figure it out and get into the Super Bowl, I'm obviously I what can I say? What can I say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And if you want
3
to
years
talk
in a
about
row.
Cincinnati and their defense, great front
Yeah,
four. Their secondary is kind of suspect. So
that's what I was gonna say. Their secondary is suspect, which, I mean, Kelsey and is gonna have a field day. Kelsey and Hill and Pringle. I mean,
yeah.
Pringle's been eating people alive. Then you got Hardman come out of nowhere too. I mean,
Mm.
he, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
Yeah, their front four is gonna have to really carry them. They're gonna have
that's
to get them home and like
that
that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not gonna be the only way it's gonna even be a game. I
Fifth,
see it being
fifth, fifth best rushing defense, and they are the. I don't know if it
20
matters. They're
something.
seventh worst pass defense.
Yeah, so like
Um,
24th or whatever it
27,
is. 27.
26, 26.
Yep. Oh yeah, you sound
So,
about right.
yeah.
Well,
But
I
then they
think we're
got.
all
I was gonna say they got 3 interceptions, but then we're talking about Ryan Tannehill. So I mean,
yeah. Give me a break.
yeah.
Former wide receiver Ryan Tannehill, which I should make
Hey
sure
man,
everybody
you
knows.
wish you had Ryan Tannehill.
Fuck that. No,
No, you
I'm
don't like
not.
Ryan Tannehill?
no.
I've never
And
been a Ryan
that's why I picked the Bengals to beat the Titans
Hmm.
was
Yeah, I've never
because
been
they
a
had
fan of.
Ryan Tannehill as quarterback.
Fair enough.
A lot of people didn't know he was wide receiver, but that's what he
Yeah,
was coming out of college, and
and the,
he looks like it sometimes. I'll tell you that.
and yeah, and the
Didn't he play
Bengals
wide
they
receiver
stopped the
for?
run. They stopped the run, and which they usually do, and then they forced Tannehill to essentially beat him with the pass, and he made some throws, but God,
So,
he made some dumb mistakes. So
but that is the way to disrupt Mahomes, though. If you can get home with that pass rush and those four down linemen, and it's
yeah,
if you can do it with just
I
four,
know. Yeah, that's
you
true.
know.
See, that's the thing is that, and I don't want to look past this Bengals game, but that's the thing. That's the reason why the Rams will have a shot at the bowl will be because they'll have Aaron Donald and Von Miller. You know what I mean, rushing in on Mahomes. So we're not going to look past this game first, but it would be a better matchup if the Rams can get by the night even
Great.
to put pressure on Mahomes. But we'll
Agree.
see.
Yeah,
Hopefully, hopefully it's close games though.
the Rams, dude, the Rams are scary good, man. They have all the talent in the world. That defense, man, that defense is scary. Yeah, they beat the champs, they beat the Bucks, and they turned the ball over. Like they played
Four
sloppy
times.
and they
Four
still
times, and
won.
they still won. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty nuts that you can turn the ball over that many times and still win. Now, if they do that against the Chiefs and if the
if they do
Chiefs,
that against the 49ers, I'm
Yeah,
not sure. If they do that against the 49ers, I don't know if they win. I don't think they win.
because the Niners, for
Niners,
all the
as much as we talk about Garoppolo and how much I say how much he hasn't really performed, they're solid everywhere else. They don't beat themselves. So,
yeah,
no, their
if,
defense is looking nasty, and
uh-huh,
Debo Samuel,
yeah.
Debo is like harder than Debo from Friday. Like he will snatch up your chains, all you, everybody's, and he won't lose the Craig. He won't lose the Craig in that fight. You know what I mean? His Debo is off the chain.
yeah.
Oof,
Yeah.
oof.
I'm gonna have to start calling you Cecil Lammy because he that's what he does. That's all he does is quote Friday. Like, oh,
Darn right, man.
Mm.
Playing with my
Ain't
playing
nothing
with my
about that.
emotions.
Ain't nothing wrong with Corn Friday. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the only movie that you're quoting and it's
I mean,
2022, you know what I mean?
there's other
Hey man,
movies we
how you
always
gonna get
quote,
fired
but
on your day off?
what's
No,
wrong?
not you. I'm talking about Cecil Lammy.
Oh,
Oh yeah, well,
oh.
how you gonna get fired on your day off? What can you do?
Right.
My
No,
grandmama gave me that chain.
it's very there was a meme, speaking of Friday, about the Bills. They're like, those boys are gonna cry in the car.
They gonna cry on the way home. They
They're
gonna
gonna
cry
cry.
I quote that a lot too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
man.
yeah. But good weekend of sports. Like I said, just not that one result for me and Sacker's taste, but everything else crazy games, amazing. Yeah, amazing set of games.
Yeah, man. I had to like take a break. Like I had to go for a walk. I like when your team's like doing that and in that type of game, like every possession, every throw, every tackle, you're just I was like OCD with everything. I was like I need to turn my hat backwards. Wait, now I need to do this. Now I need to do this. Like it was it was getting ridiculous. I was like, oh, I need to chug this beer before this happens. It was just trying to calm myself and try to like, how can I help out the team, just being a lunatic at
Oh,
that
I
point.
know it. I know it.
So
In other news, though, I will tell you this: the Avs are in first place. I'm talking about first place of everything, man, killing it. So big
that's
time,
awesome.
big
they've been
time. Shout out
ridiculous.
to the Avs.
They've been
Shout out to the Avs.
yeah.
So for the Avs, like if they don't go all the way this year, man, like or at least
It's
make it to the
it's
finals, that's
Stanley
going to be
Cup or bust.
disappointing.
It's Stanley
It's good.
Cup or bust.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna lose part of our squad if we don't. Like, we're definitely gonna lose a couple of these guys if we don't do something this year.
It's
So,
Stanley Cup or bust at this point.
yep,
This team is
hands
way
down.
too talented to. They have
Yeah,
no
'cause we
weak. They
finally got the
have no weak.
goalkeeper.
well, their weakness is their
Well,
goaltending,
and that
you
I was gonna
know.
say that, but their goaltending the last
They've
week
been
or
stepped up.
so has been
Yeah, they've been
really
stepped up.
good.
Yep.
Their team they've struggled offensively for the last week or so, but their goaltending has been great. I mean,
Look, Kemper before he got injured, he was playing good, and then even when he got injured for that game or two, our backup dude came in
Francouz,
and
well,
yeah,
yeah,
he did work, man.
and he has 2 shutouts. I mean,
Yeah.
so the goaltending's starting to show up. So I'm not sure this team has much of a weakness right now. So
No, yeah. If you had to put it, I guess you could say goaltender, but
yeah,
like Sacker said, man, they've been stepped up this last week or two. So we're looking good. They're stepping up at the
yeah,
right time, and it's definitely Stanley Cup or bust.
yeah.
No doubt about it.
Knocking on wood. The only thing that could stop it is injuries, clearly, but
Yep.
Yeah.
hopefully that doesn't happen. They're finally healthy too, so for the most part,
Oh yeah.
as healthy as they've been all year. So yeah,
Hey, man.
we'll see. But there might be our only hope to see a championship around here for a while.
Yeah, unless
What are you
Jamal
talking
Murray
about?
come back, you know what I mean?
No, man. Aaron Rodgers next year.
Yeah, well, hey, that's all right, but you just watch my words. As long as we get Rodgers or Wilson, dude, I'll be a happy Broncos fan. Because no matter what happens with your boys this year, if we get one of those two boys next year, we're gonna be knocking at your door for sure.
I can't get my hopes up. Like,
Oh, I got it, bro.
oh man.
We've been let down so much. I got to think of something positive.
Man, I can't keep my hopes up. I can't get my hopes up.
Uh,
Too much disappointment will drive a man crazy. So
Hey, man, you don't have to tell me. Like, my team was terrible for like most of my life, and not
I would
even
I would have gone insane. I don't know. 6 years of this shit has not been fun.
dude.
no,
Like,
it hasn't, man.
Fuck,
And
it
now
has
you're
not
going to
been fun.
3 straight Super Bowls, Bob. I don't even want to hear it, bro. You're about to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. I don't even want to hear it, bro. All right,
hey,
I don't
but
want
but
to hear
I
it.
I understand, and now you know how I felt when Matt Castle was going out there, and Tyler Palko and Steve DeBerg and terrible quarterbacks.
Fuck,
The only
I
the
can't. That
you
would
know
drive me insane. I'm like, oh my god,
Trust
yeah.
me, yeah, this 6 years has driven me insane. And now to see like such a awesome defense go to waste the way it is right now, and then like great offensive talent
And
too.
the worst part about it is every rival of the Broncos is prospering. That's what drives me
Yeah.
nuts.
Yep.
You have the Chiefs, who are probably going to kick our ass for the next 10 years, depending on if things don't pan out. Then you have the Raiders, you have the Chargers, who have
Their
Justin
franchise
Herbert.
quarterback.
They have a
Justin
franchise
Herbert.
quarterback. I mean, the Raiders, they made the playoffs. I mean, so.
Oh, geez, don't remind me.
Yeah, exactly. So this shit is not fun.
Nope.
This is not fun at all.
Dude, that's why it's got to change, Vince. Trust me, man. Trust me. It's got to. We're getting one of them franchise quarterbacks. We're gonna be knocking on the door. I'm keeping hope alive. I can't. Last year was too bad for me. It was a horrible year. This year's got to be 10 times better. So got to
can
go
I
for it.
can I tell you my lowest Chiefs moment before things turned around was
What's
was the
that?
was the playoff game with Alex Smith, but it was against the Titans, and that was the game. Do you remember that game
Yeah.
where what's his face? What was the Titans quarterback at the time?
Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota. So we hit him hard. He fumbles it. He catches it again, and then he runs it in for a touchdown.
Yeah,
Like,
that was rough.
dude, like,
Oh man.
oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
I laugh at that because I
Yeah.
remember the night I didn't text Bob because I figured you'd be pissed. So I post on Facebook. I post
I
on Facebook. There's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and the Chiefs choking in a home game in the playoffs.
Ooh,
Oh my god.
oh,
Bob
I
was
was,
on
dude,
the
Clearly you saw that, and oh my god.
I was like, where the fuck is Sackor? Let me find him.
edge. Yeah, now he's about to go to his third straight Super
Exactly.
Bowl.
See how things change on a drop.
But man, like that was like the closest I've ever been to be like, fuck the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like how do you lose like that to the Titans? And then they got their asses kicked, I think, the next week. So it was
By
just
the
like
Patriots.
horrible.
Yeah, by the
Yeah,
Patriots.
it was just terrible. I was like, man, like
Y'all were up
seriously.
21-3 in that game too. That was
Yeah. No, it was horrible.
Oh man.
I can't.
I felt so bad after that. I was like, man, I might have pushed this guy over the edge.
I had something. It wasn't as bad as that, but the two for me were Jacksonville. I think it was '96 against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That one I'll never forget because that was such a big letdown.
I cried
there's
after
actually three.
as a
There's
kid. as a kid, I cried after that game.
Yeah, big
That
time,
was
dude. That
so.
was so horrible, bro. You know how talented we were.
Sacker did cry in the car that time.
Mm,
That one, then also
the,
the Baltimore Ravens when freaking
Raheem
Raheem
Moore.
Moore when Raheem Moore missed that freaking thing, we definitely would have had the Super Bowl that year. And then also there was one where Jake Plummer was the quarterback versus the freaking Steelers, and we lost to the Steelers in the AFC
you
Championship.
know, people.
That one really hurt me.
You know that one. I was like, I was thinking our luck was gonna run out. I was like,
Yeah,
man, how are we winning all these games? And I thought, I don't know, our luck might run out. I think we're just playing with house money and ended up crapping out at the table. But
it certainly
I
did.
do agree with that Baltimore Ravens.
That was
That
horrible.
was. I didn't cry, but I went to bed afterwards. I
Oh,
went. I
dude.
went to the bar. I was at the bar watching that game. I Yeah, I went home after that and went to bed. I didn't even watch I think the Packers and 49ers are playing. I didn't watch that game. I was so depressed.
That was depressing as
That
can
was
be,
so
man.
depressing.
Trust me.
I'll
Oh
tell
man.
you. I'll tell you one of my worst disappointing losses to the Broncos was. There's been a few of them, but the
I know
one
which one
that's
you're talking about. I know which one.
maybe there's a couple of them.
Go ahead.
One of my favorite players of all time, Chiefs player Jamal Charles, fumbles the ball.
Oh,
This was going to send it to overtime. The Chiefs just ran the ball like they should to put the game, just to run the clock out so that they can go into overtime. And Jamal Charles fumbles the ball. The Broncos return it for a touchdown. Game over.
I
Like
remember
that was
that.
glorious. That was
that
glorious.
one,
That was poetry in motion.
That was glorious.
and then there's been a couple
Because
others
I
for
know
sure.
that I remember that game was like I was worried about that game. I was so worried about that game. I thought, and all the Chiefs fans, including yourself, thought this was our time to
Yeah,
win over the Broncos, beat the Broncos, and take over the AFC West. And it
didn't
just
happen.
did not happen.
Which you eventually did, but
Not that year, but not that year.
year. Definitely not. Jamal had to help us out.
Oh,
I
that was
thought
good.
Jamal was gonna help us out when he came to our team, but that's
Oh,
what I really wanted to have.
Jesus Christ.
Not so much.
well,
It
they
was
never
he was
used
just
him.
showing himself.
What was your other one? I think I could think of the other one.
Go ahead and tell me what you think it is.
I'm thinking 1997, the AFC Divisional round, where we go to Arrowhead and beat you guys.
Yeah, that's a tough one because that's when I was a kid. That was like when I was first a Chiefs fan, right? Like when I'm watching Joe Montana, even just before Joe Montana, and then when Joe Montana got there, like, those were the prime years having Marty, Marty Schottenheimer, Marty
Mm-hmm.
Ball, and all of that. Like, Derek Thomas, like, this was good times. But yeah, that one was tough. I think I want to say that didn't you guys the Broncos they put Pam or something on their jerseys
That
and
was
stuff.
on the first drive. That was like 3 plays in.
See, I don't forget that.
Yeah, I know. All Chiefs don't forget that one.
Right.
That was like the first three. That was the first drive. It was like 3 plays in, and they went
Still.
and rubbed.
I mean,
Whatever.
hats off to him. Well,
Whatever.
the reason why I remember that so well is that when I played football in high school, Loveland High School at the time was like always winning the state championship, a championship, a championship, a championship, a championship, a championship, a championship.
Bob's mixing it up.
I was mixing it up again.
A championship, a championship, a championship.
Oh, we're back.
All right. So in high school, we played against Loveland High, and this was it was a regular season game, but this was my senior year, and we were good, and they were always good. So we were in the game, and basically we lost by a touchdown because our star middle linebacker missed a tackle. And what had happened was we found out later that they had sprayed Pam all over their jerseys. And I was like, those motherfuckers, like back to, and that brought back that memory of the Broncos way back when. And it's like, you motherfuckers. And so, yeah, we ended up losing that game. But yeah, Sacker, that would be one of them as well. and then all of the Manning games, like every one of them that we lost to you guys, because it was like, you know how you guys are right now. It was like us every game. Like we had solid teams, but like when you have Manning, it's how, and he's guaranteed 10 wins or 11 wins every season. Like you can't beat that. Like
Yeah.
there's no way. And that's what happened. Like Manning would just, kick the crap out of us every single game, and it was just rough.
Man, I miss those days.
I know. I
I
know.
miss having
I
one of
know.
the best quarterbacks in the league.
I know. I'll tell you, that's when people ask me why I don't like the Chiefs. It was that season. It was that 97 season. Because they were, I mean, obviously the Chiefs won the division and got to host that playoff game, but I mean, I think it was a game in the midseason where I mean, if we won that game, we probably would have won the division. And we ended up losing that game and be on a long field goal by Pete Stoyanovich. I don't know if you remember that game.
Yeah, dude. That is a man from the
As a
past.
kid, I was so pissed at that game. I was like, I hate that fucking team. I don't like them. So yeah, that's where it started for
There's
me.
the roots.
That's
Okay.
where it started. So
My
beating you
my
guys in the playoffs made it all.
Mine
Oh,
was always hated John Elway. Like he always just came off smug, and like, which he is and all of that, but also just like when he would cry to the refs all the time, and then he would, like, he's like the trying to yell at the refs to tell the crowd to like be quiet. Like that was like, come on, man, like stop being an asshole. Like, but again, he kept winning, so it was just like it was one of those things, kind of like with Mahomes, right? Like you guys,
yeah,
you don't want to see the rival team succeed like that.
of course
So
not. That's why
yeah,
this is so hard. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know what happened to Tyler.
I'm gonna press pause for a second.